Hari Om. Good morning to everybody in the US. Good evening to everybody in India. And thanks for joining us on this special program on the occasion of Ratha Saptami celebrations. So we're going to have a distinguished talk by Dr. Raghava Vodupalli. So he will talk on the topic of the horses of Lord Surya's chariot revealed in Sanatana Dharma. And so we will start the program with some prayers, invocation song, and we'll have the talk and some concluding remarks. So I'd like to start with the invocation by the Veda Kendra students. Vasan sir, here, there.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Agnenaya Sapatha Rahe Asman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidvan Yayodhyasma Juhranameno Bhuishtante Namabhuktim Videma. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vakpranaschakshuhu Shrotramato Badamindriyani Sarvani Sarvam Brahmopanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuriyam Mama Brahma Nirakarotu Anirakaranamastu Anirakaranam me astu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahman Brahmano Brahmavarchasi Jayatam Arashtre Rajanyah Shura Ishavyoti Vyadhi Maharato Jayatam Dogdri Dhenuhu Odhanadvan Ashusaptihi Purandhir Yosha Jishnorateshta Sabheyo Yuva Asya Yamanasya Viro Jayatam Nikame Nikame Nha Prajanyo Na Varshato Paravatyo Na Voshadayah Pachyantam Yogakshemo Naha Kalpetam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Purnamada Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Udutyam Jatavedasam Devam Vahanti Ketavaha Trishe Vishwaya Suryam Apatye Tayavo Yatha Nakshatra Yam Tyaktubihi Suraya Vishwachakshase Adushramastya Ketava Virashmayo Janang Anu Brajam To Agnayo Yatha Tarani Vishwadashado Jyotiskudasi Surya Vishwama Bhasirochanam Pratyang Devanam Visha Pratyangudeshi Manushan Pratyang Vishwam Swardrishe Yena Pavakachakshasa Burhanyantam Janangano Tvam Varuna Pashyasi Vidya Meshi Rajasprutvaha Mimano Aktubihi Pashyang Janmani Surya Sapta Tva Harito Rathe Vahanti Deva Surya Sochishkesham Vishakshana Ayukta Sapta Sundyavasuro Ratasya Naptyaha Tabhiryati Swayuktibihi Udvayam Tamasaspare Jyotish Pashyam Tabuttaram Devam Devatra Surya Maganma Jyotiruttamam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om sir.
Very nice. Thank you, Vasan sir. Very good. Now we'll do some chanting of Aditya Stotras. Suman, madam, are you there to start?
Yes, I'm ready. Hari Om, Namaste, everybody. I'll start with Surya Ashtakam. Later on, I'll go to the Bija Mantras. सूर्याष्टकम् आदिदेव नमस्तुभ्यं प्रसीद मम भास्कर दिवाकर नमस्तुभ्यं प्रभाकर नमोऽस्तुते सप्ताश्वरथमारूढं प्रचण्डं कश्यपात्मजं श्वेतपद्मधरं देवं तं सूर्यं प्रणमाम्यहम् लोहितं रथमारूढं सर्वलोकपितामहं महापापहरं देवं तं सूर्यं प्रणमाम्यहम् त्रैगुण्यं च महाशूरं ब्रह्मविष्णुमहेश्वरं महापापहरं देवं तं सूर्यं प्रणमाम्यहम् ब्रह्मितं तेजः पुञ्जं च वायुमाकाशमेव च प्रभुं च सर्वलोकानां तं सूर्यं प्रणमाम्यहम् बन्धूकपुष्पसङ्काशं हाराकुण्डलभूषितम् एकचक्रधरं देवं तं सूर्यं प्रणमाम्यहम् तं सूर्यं जगत्कर्तारं महातेजप्रदीपिनं महापापहरं देवं तं सूर्यं प्रणमाम्यहम् तं सूर्यं जगतां नाथं ज्ञानविज्ञानमोक्षदं महापापहरं देवं तं सूर्यं प्रणमाम्यहम् Surya Namaskara combines yogasanas and pranayamas. It provides a warm-up to all the muscles and all the joints involved. It's also a loosening exercise practice, a basis to do different asanas. Injuries can be avoided by this practice. It can be done both at the sunrise and sunset facing the sun. Each stage of Surya Namaskara is accompanied by regulation of breath and with the utterance of the corresponding 12 Bija mantras. Through these Bija mantras, inner metabolism is activated, body awareness and breath awareness is created, the sun energy activates the Pingala Nadi, and the right balance is struck between mental and physical energy. Now I chant the Bija mantras. Om Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasyapi Hitam Mukam Tattvam Pusharna Pavruno Satya Dharmaya Drishtaye Om Ram Mitraya Namaha Om Hrim Ravaye Namaha Om Hrum Suryaya Namaha Om Hrim Bhanave Namaha Om Hram Khagaya Namaha Om Rah Pushne Namaha Om Ram Hiranya Garbhaya Namaha Om Hrim Marichaye Namaha Om Hrum Adityaya Namaha Om Hrim Savitre Namaha Om Ram Arkaya Namaha Om Rah Bhaskaraya Namaha. To continue with my shlokas, this is the Ratha Saptami Stotra. Yada janma kritam papam maya janma sujanmasu tanme rogam cha shokam cha makari hantu saptami ekta janma kritam papam yacha janmantararjitam mano vakkaya jamyacha gnata gnate chaye punaha itti saptavidham papam snanatme sapta saptike saptavyadhi samayuktam haramakari saptami sapta sapta mahasapta sapta dvipa vasundhara shvetarka paranamadaya saptami ratha saptami arghya shlokam sapta sapti mahaprita sapta loka pradipana saptami sahito deva grahanaryam divakara. Thank you everyone.
Very nice. Thank you, Suman, madam. It's very nice. So I'll also play one more chanting by Anish Kalyam.
My name is Anish Kalyam, and today I'll be reciting Slokams 1 to 6 on the Surya Stotram. Kalatma Sarva Bhutatma Vetatma Vishwato Mukha Janma Murtya Jaravyadi Samsara Bhayanasanaha Brahma Sarva Rupa Udaye Madhyan Hetu Maheshwaraha अस्तकारे स्वयं विष्णुः त्रायीमूर्तिस्तु दिवाकरः एकचक्ररतो यस्य दिव्यः कनकाभूषिताः स्वयं भवतु न प्रीतः पद्महेस्तो दिवाकरः पद्महस्तः परं ज्योति पारसाय नमो नमः अन्धयोनिः महासाक्षी आदित्याय नमो नमः कमलसन देवेश भानुमूर्ते नमो नमः धर्ममूर्तिः दयामूर्तिः तत्रमूर्तिः नमो नमः सकलेशय सूर्याय शान्तेशाय नमो नमः चायसाय दुर्दोष व्याधिनाशन सूर्यते नमः इति श्री सूर्य स्तोत्रम् आदित्य प्रसाद सिद्धिरस्तु.
So the last part of the invocation part is a song composed by Muthuswami Dikshidhar, Surya Mantra. This is rendered by Dr. T. Lakshmi, my mother, and then I am playing the flute accompaniment for it.
Namaste, Bharat.
Namaste.
Oh my God.
You're there.
भास्कराय विद्महे महाद्युतिकराय धीमहि तन्नो आदित्य प्रचोदयात् सप्त सप्त महासप्त सप्तद्वीप वसुन्धरा सप्तार्कपर्णमादाय सप्तमी रथ सप्तमी सूर्यमूर्ते नमोस्तुते सिंह
Okay, so with that, I request Dr. C.L. Prabhakar, my father, to introduce the speaker.
So enchanting. Thank you very much. Welcome to all of you. And Satsvararudhena bijena shadangam raktambujastitam saptaswarathinam Ranyavarnam Chaturbhujam Padmadvayabhayavaradahastam Kalachakra Pranetaram Sri Surya Narayanam Ya Evam Veda Savai Brahmanaha. So today is our Ratha Saptami celebrations, because of course it's a penultimate day, but still Surya Bhagavan is already getting ready to turn to north direction to gallop and to pick up more and more energy and give a lot of food to all people living upon the earth through rain and other benefactors. So, and we have a wonderful speaker today, Dr. Buddupalli Raghav. And it's interesting that he pitched upon highlighting the horses of the chariot of Sri, I don't, yes, the horses of the chariot of Surya Bhagavan, who is standing and he is being driven, but his chariot is peculiar, unlike any other chariot. It has got only one dhura and one wheel, but 7 horses. This is the interesting feature, because Surya Bhagavan is always exclusively different. Therefore, we have to know more about the horses, the Ashwa, Haridasva Sahasram. So, Adhyayana Namo Namaha. So, Haridasvaha Sahasram Saha. So, today, I think we are going to have a wonderful talk on the horses, because horse is taken as a Lakshmi, a Sampada, and horse is also taken as the Indriyas. And like that, there are so many symbolism and other interpretations regarding the horses. And anybody who keeps the horse in movement in their house, the astrologer said that there will be a lot of prosperity and growth and development in their house. So like that, there is a lot of symbolism. And today we will just be able to know more about the horses of the sun. And there is a plenty of literature upon Surya Bhagavan. In the Aruna Prashna also, we have got a beautiful Eka Chakram, Eka Dhuram, Vatadhraji Gatim Vibho, Narishyati Navyatathe. So these are the two complements which Raghava Garu will be able to point out. See, Aji is the horse, Vata is the wind, and that is the speed that the horses of the sun has got, because in 12 hours, so morning 6 o'clock, for example, if sun is seen in the east, he should be ready with the same spirit and all that at 6 o'clock in the evening for us. So in about 12 hours, he has to cover plenty of distance and all that. And the horses are also Narishyati Navyatathe. So the horses do not get fatigued or tired. They also run with great speed and maintain of the speed and so on. So in Aruna Prashna also I got a lot of literature and elsewhere. So we are very much anxious, not spending much time on that, because it is a Ratha Saptami. So the Saptami is an important number for Surya Bhagavan and Agni and so on. So we would go with that. So now Dr. Budbali Raghava Garu, he is though a great scientist, but all that, but still he has Purva Janma Punyam. We don't know. All Devatas and Pitru Devatas have given him a lot of insights into our Vedic literature, not simply recitation. So reciting the Veda mantras is one part, and also trying to dive deep into the depths of the symbolism and meaning and significations and the suggestions, etc., because Rishi mind is deep. We may think also because every mantra has got Rishi, Devata, and Chandas. And so it is to unearth the depths of the mind of the Rishi, we must also have got Rishi Buddhi, whatever be the extent of it. So, mana buddhulanni kuda Rishi Buddhule. Kani manamu upayoginchukolemu. We are not able to explore that. We are busy in so many other aspects. But still, Raghava Garu is one example readily standing before us to tell the entire world, no, the mantras are not just the statements coming out or revealed to great rishis, but they have plenty of knowledge. And Vedo Akhilam Dharma Moolam, Vedaha Shastra Moolam, Vedaha Jnana Moolam, Vedaha anything, Tantra Moolam, Yantra Moolam, etc. Everything is to be found in Vedas, provided you are able to focus your faculty upon that. A doctor looks a lot of medicine in that, and a scientist looks a lot of science behind them, and an astrologer looks to a lot of astrology and astronomy in that. Well, we are also having one more talk in the same series by an astrologer to talk about the grace and power of astrology on our life and on the mantra, money, and aushadhi. So these are all. Also, when we explore some knowledge from same mantras, mantra is same, but our outlook is different. So today we have beautiful opportunity to listen to this wonderful talk, and added to that we have beautiful prayer, because Saptami celebration we put it. So celebration means the power and grace and strength of Surya Bhagavan and all the members in the Surya Mandala. There are so many, all of them will be there, because Arogo Bhraja Patara Patanga Swarnaro Jyotishi Manna Vibhasaha Te Asmai Sarve Divamata Panti is one, and Kasyapa Dudita Surya Papan Nirgranti Sarvada Rodasyon Deseshu, etc. Again, this Kasyapa Prajapati, who is the father of all God, all the Suryas, he will never leave the Mahameru. Samahamerum na jahati. He will never leave. But if at all you want to go to Mahameru, can go, then you have to do Mithau Charitva Pravichet. So Aruna Prashna I have doing. So fortunately, Rava Sharma, Rama Yammanur, and they are arranged every Saturday program on Aruna Prashna, and that is going on. So we have to explore, and there is oceanic knowledge about Surya Bhagavan. He is all in all. So today we just try to know about the horses, chariot, and the Surya Bhagavan standing. He cannot sit there, and only the car driver, Anur, will say. And moreover, the Ratha Chodakas, I have got a very big history that you see, Anuru is one, Matal is another, Krishna is final, about whom we talk about it. Krishna is Vishnu himself, the charioteer of Arjuna. And so Arjuna is spared from all the attack of the arrows and astras and shastras. And in case of Rama, Matali and Indra just rented his chariot and car driver, so to kill that Ravanasura. Rama cannot stand on the ground and fight with the Ravana who comes with that. So Rama accepted to stay on that. And when he was using all the arrows in Uttarakhand, I find it, but Ravana was not at all put out. Then Matali looks at him and says, "What, Rama, you're playing with Ravanasura. It is time that you should finish him." So he said, Brahmastra Prayoga. So when Matali, car driver, told Rama to employ Brahmastra, and then that is done. So like that, the chariot, the horses, the charioteer, and the rider, all of them are important. Let us leave to Dr. Raghav Garu. I don't want to talk, but I'm more interested to listen to him from. So thank you very much. Now, Dr. Raghav Garu.
My pranams at the feet of Professor Prabhakar Garu. My respects to all people who have joined this meeting to listen to this Ratha Saptami topic, which Professor Prabhakar Garu asked me to share some of these thoughts that which I have published some time back in the Waves blog, and I would be using some of those points also in this presentation. So, the horses of Lord Surya's chariot, as revealed in the Sanatana Dharma, is the title of this presentation. And it reminds me, when I use any word of Surya or Aditya, I remember my father immediately. That is because he starts chanting Aditya Hrudayam from the bathroom just before coming out of the bathroom after the bath, and which it is registered to me and to my brothers also, the Aditya Hrudayam, in the mind and also in the heart, how powerful God is. Surya Bhagavan. He is nothing but what we see every day. Without seeing him, we cannot start our lives. So, Sanatana Dharma, as Professor mentioned, the beginning with the Vedas, Smritis, Puranas, Mantra Shastras, the complete Stotra Vangmaya, several of these things which now the devotees have chanted are the combined pillars of the Sanatana Dharma. And this is eternal and never changing. And as we all know, the Vedic texts are codified and classified by the great sage, Veda Vyasa Maharshi. As you know, Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharveda. And also, Veda Vyasa Maharshi has composed the Ashtadasha Puranas in order to help and elevate human beings in our lives. So Vedas, starting with Vedas, there are Vedic gods. Several Vedic gods are there, which especially the Rig Veda has mentioned several of these things with almost several hymns have been there in the Rig Veda, and also the Yajurveda and other Vedas have said these about Vedic gods, and Indra, Agni, Varuna, Soma, Yama, and others, and in goddesses also there Usha, Prithvi, and others. But today's topic, Surya is the bestower of the energy in the form of light and life to the totality of the cosmos and the source of wisdom. The source of wisdom, I really like it, as we see in course of time in the slides, where Rug, Yajus, Sama, Veda, all are his forms, Surya forms. So Surya in the Vedas and epics, if I consider this one, according to Vedic texts, every elemental force is presided over by a deity, as we all know. And in Vedic texts, Surya is one of the major and often invoked god. Surya Devata remains as an integral part of Sanatana Dharma traditions across the world and universe. He is the most powerful and majestic visible Devata, which we see every day in the morning. Aditya, Surya, or Surya, and other names are there, which we'll see in later, is one of the Vedic deities who received importance in all the Veda Samhitas. You consider which are present so far here, which are present in the world so far, the Brahmanas, the Aranyakas, the Upanishads, and the epics. So as you all know, there are 12 names for Surya Bhagavan. So I consider here only 6 for the sake of table, and where you can see Aditya, Surya, Savitru, Pushan, Mitra, and Hiranyagarbha. And you can see in the left side the Veda Samhita, the Rig Veda, Shukla Yajurveda, Krishna Yajurveda, Sama Veda, Atharva Veda, Srimad Ramayana, and Mahabharata.
Slide
How
is
many
not put
times? Sorry?
Slide is not visible if you are projected.
Oh, really?
Please project that. Share the screen.
I'm extremely sorry. Is it not shared? Okay. Oh, sorry.
Yes, now good.
Thank you, sir. Sorry about it.
Now we are following.
Where you can see Aditya, how many number of times in the Rig Veda, in the hymns, and Surya Bhagavan, Savitru, Pushan, Mitra, Hiranyagarbha, and Mitra you see 412 times it is mentioned in the Rig Veda, and in Yajurveda you can see almost 200 times, both when you consider both the Shukla Yajurveda and Krishna Yajurveda, and you can see like this, and more number of times Savitru in Krishna Yajurveda and other places, sorry. And Krishna Yajurveda 156 times, and like this in Ramayana and also in Mahabharata, Surya's name in Mahabharata comes in 275 times, and most often from and Draupadi too, and where we can see these numbers. So the importance of the Surya Bhagavan is there as a Vedic god right from the Vedic period to the epic time, and even now in the Kali Yuga. So what are the names of Surya Bhagavan? That is, one second. Yeah. Aditya, as Professor Prabhakar sir said, son of Kashyapa Maharshi and mother Aditi, has 12 names: Mitra, Ravi, Surya, Bhanu, Kaka, Pusha, Hiranyagarbha, Marichi, Aditya, Savitru, Arka, Bhaskara. So I get immediately, these are quite often my father used to chant, and at the end, Bhaskarebhyo Namaha. So that is how mantras and the names of God are being chanted. And Aditya, he who illuminates the entire universe, is called Tejomaya Devata, and he is popularly known as Brahma Swarupa in the morning, Shiva Swarupa in the afternoon, and Vishnu Swarupa in the evening. The famous, as we all know, the famous Gayatri Mantra, which has revealed in Rigveda Samhita, 3rd Kanda, 62nd Suktam, 10th Mantra, is the glory of power of brilliance of Aditya, which we often call as Savitru. So we are praying the sun god, Surya Bhagavan, in the Gayatri Mantra. So it is so difficult to say whether the 5-headed Gayatri is in that mantra or Surya Bhagavan. But according to Vedas, it is the Surya Bhagavan who is there in the Gayatri Mantra as per Rigveda. So the sun god names and the etymology. The word Aditya and Surya, I have taken only 2 here for this grammatical root words, dhatu, and adhanat, meaning attractive and imperishable. Adhayak, a plus da plus yak, adate bhasam jyotisham, meaning who creates water, dawn drains the radiance of other planets, the one who made the planets stay in their respective orbits with his gravity. So without Aditya, the other planets cannot stay in their respective positions. Adipyak, A plus Deep plus Yak, Adipto Bhasa, means illuminates light. He is the eternal Atman in the sky, taking the role of a being and witness to all the happenings in the universe. We think that if we do any adharma, when we do any adharma in our lives, we think that no one has seen it, but Surya Bhagavan has seen it because he is there in the sky. So Surya, Su plus Kyap, Sarati, Gachati, Amutarikshe, meaning the one who energized the sky, he is the sun. Surya, Su plus Kyap, Suvati, Prerayati, Pranina, Swasva, Karmasu, meaning the one who inspires living beings in their own karma, he is the sun. So the metabolism of the human beings will get raised with the rays of the sun in the sky. So that is the important thing in the science factor that is there. So some things Miss Srimati Suma, she has chanted, and Surya Upanishad is there in the Veda, which that is in the Atharva Veda. It opens stating that its objective is to explain the state of Atharva Veda mantra for the sun. Om Atha Surya Tharvangirasam Vyakhyasyaamaha Brahma Rushihi Gayatri Chandaha Adityo Devata Hamsa Soham Agni Narayana Yuktam Bijam. So, for any mantra, there are four important things which we should remember as a devotee, is that who is the Rishi for that mantra, what is the chandas of that mantra, and who is the Devata of that mantra, and what is the Bijaksharas in that mantra. So, this is the important thing which we have to learn from a guru. It's impossible that we can do on our own. So Guru plays an important role in telling these things while reciting the Veda mantras in the classes. So it is the Hamsa Soham, literally, I am he with Agni. Narayana, Vishnu is the bija of this mantra. And the Upanishad states that it is the sun that gave birth to Vayu, Prithvi, Apas, Jyoti, Tejas, sky, directions, Devatas, and the Vedas. This mantra aims to remind the help win the reciter the 4 worthy human goals which we prakulatam Telugulo ite. So which we really seeking them is the dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So Surya Upanishad is so important in this. What are the other we will see some of these things. Some of the Surya mantras of for the heart and skin diseases is also said in the Vedas. Ujjannadya mitraha arohan uttaram divam rudrogam mama surya harimanancha nashaya shukeshu me harimanam ropaka sudadmasi atho haridraveshu me harimanan nidhatmasi udagadayamadityah vishvena sahasasaha dvishantam mamarandhayan mo aham dvishato radham. This is said in the Taittiriya Brahmanam for the heart diseases in the 3rd Kanda, 7th Prashna as 6th mantra. The another mantra which in the Surya Upanishad, Surya bhimuko japtva mahavyadhi bhayat pramuchyate. If Surya Upanishad is chanted facing the sun in the morning, one will be released from the fear of skin and other diseases. It is not said by me, it is said by the Veda. And it is said that there is a story behind this too, which I heard from Sri Samavedam Brahma Sri Samavedam Sharmukha Sharma Garu. Once Krishna's son Sambhu is suffering from leprosy, Kushti Vyadhi. Krishna did not do anything to get rid of from this leprosy disease, but he asked to pray Surya Bhagavan. And he prayed Surya Bhagavan several years, Sambhu. So then he could get rid of the leprosy disease. So this is how Surya bhimko japva mahavyadhi bhayat pramuchyate. Such mahavyadhis also can be removed by Surya Bhagavan with reciting some of these mantras. There is Surya Yantra. It is also an object for meditation. And if you see that how this Surya Mantra is formed, Yantroda Dharanaya Slokaha Bindu Trikona Vrutrancha Shatkonancha Purutra Yugmakam. So, Bindu in the form of Om, which you can see in the center, that is the Bindu. So, around the Bindu, there is a triangle which is Trikona. And then around that, there are Shatkonam, 8 angles, Shatkonancha, Shatkonam, Vrutra Yugmakam. Then there will be 2 circles around that. And Vasukonam, Tatha Vruttam, Dvadashanta Thaivacha. So Surya Bijaksharas are there, which Suma Madam has chanted Surya Bijaksharas, some of those things from the exercises, what we do yoga and what we do. The Bijaksharas, Om Ram Hrim Rum Raim Ram Raha. And there are Aditya Dwadasha Namas, Mitra Ravi Surya Bhanu Khaka Pusha Hiranyagarpa Marichi Aditya Savitru Arka Bhaskaraha. So these are also there around this here. So this is all in the Devanagari language. And the Gayatri Mantra is there in these two lines, in these two circles, between the two circles. And also the Bhaskaraya Vidmahe Mahajyutikaraya Dhimahi Tanno Aditya Prachodayat is also there in here. This is that. So this is how the Surya Yantra has been formed, and which is very well used as on the copper plate. This one, and they keep in the puja rooms, and then when they do the Aruna Parayana and all this stuff, these kind of things, and Surya Upanishad chanting and all these things they will do, looking at this Surya Yantra. Believe me, it is all personal experience that the life will change. Thank you. And Professor Prabhakar sir has really told some of those things which there are there in the Aruna Prashna. So this is the Aruna Prashna explains the Surya Mandalam, and it is in the Krishna Yajurveda Taittiriya Aranyaka. There is a chapter dedicated to sun god titled Aruna Prashna, which explains the Surya Mandalam and also others which I have given the several list. And it contains 133 Anuvakas, or in Telugu it is called as Panasa. One Panasa is equal to 50 words. There are several Panasas like that in the Aruna Prashna, if we count, and it tells the time cycle and how the 6 seasons are formed, and what are all the Aditya Swarupas. Some of these things which Professor Prabhakar sir has chanted just now, and Kalamana, Vishnu, death and beyond. And also the very interesting thing is the Astasaktis of Agni Deva and the direction-wise placement of Narakas, and the mantra Pushpam which we chant, Yopam Pushpam Veda Pushpavan Prajavan Pashuman Bhavati. It is in the Aruna Prashna. Nowhere else. It is first said in the Aruna Prashna, the Taittiriya Aranyaka Veda. So the Aruna Ketu Agni, and it's all explained in this. And before I show this one, Professor Prabhakar sir has shown this one. He wrote a wonderful book on the Aruna Prashna, and as he chanted, he has put here Eka Chakram Ekadharam Vatadra Jigatim Vibho Narishyati Navyathate. So the mantras are in Devanagari in this book, and the meaning is in English and with notes. I bought this book in 2012, and I really prayed this book. Means, believe me, I don't know how many times I might have gone through this entire book of Professor Prabhakar, which one has to experience it. If I say too many number of times that he wrote a great book, it is not necessary for me to say that one, but one should experience by this book and experience it. Thank you. And the sun god chariot, we are coming to the horses. In general, the sun god is envisioned in the form of a person sitting on the chariot drawn by 7 horses with its reins in the hands of the charioteer, Arunudu, who is devoid of thighs. He doesn't have thighs. I cannot show a picture because Arundu always sits holding the reins of the horses. It is there in the picture you can see here. So, however, to clear the doubts of various questions that arise in our minds with regard to the sun god Aditya, his chariot drawn by 7 horses, one has to do an in-depth study of Vedic scriptures, Puranas, and Stotra Vangmaya. It is not that I am telling that I have done and you also have to do, but it is that one has to read the scriptures and Puranas for this purpose. And the Chaturvedas, what it said about these 7 horses. The 7 horses pulling the chariot of the sun god are the 7 Vedic meters, Chandas. Namely, there are several are there, but these are the major Chandas that is said in the Chaturvedas, the Gayatri, the Ushnik, the Anushtup, the Bruhati, the Pankti, the Trishtup, and the Jagati, as revealed in the Veda Samhitas, and also it is also mentioned in the Vishnu and the Surya Puranas. The Chandas is designed for the purpose of securing proper reading and reciting of the Vedic texts. Not that each person has to chant a particular mantra, but for that reason, the Gayatri, the Ushnik, all these Chandas names, the mantras are formed. So in that proper way, with the Swara, we have to chant. That is the beauty of the Veda. Srimad Suma has chanted this Suryashtakam very nicely. And I am just going only Suryashtakam, 2nd mantra. It is customary to praise the sun god with the mantra Saptashva Rathamarudam Prachandam Kasyapatmajam Shweta Padmadharam Devam Tam Suryam Pranamamyaham. My salutations to the gods, to the sun god, who rides on a chariot with 7 horses, the brightest lights, son of Kashyapa Rishi, and who holds a white lotus flower. Please don't consider this picture here, which is in red color, but it has got white surroundings, which is food. But the mantra, what I am interested here is that to tell about Saptashvarathamarudham. We'll go to the next slide. Explanation of that particular mantra. Interesting features of the portion of Suryashtakam mantra is the Saptashva Rathamarudham. Transmission is the characteristic feature of light, as you all know. Maybe some of the physicians are here, and for which Professor C.V. Raman has got the Nobel Prize. The source of light is Prabhakara. What a name for Prabhakar sir has given by his parents. Prabhakara, Prabham Prakasham Karoti, means Surya, he who emits light. Prabham Prakasham Karoti. And Ashwa in Sanskrit means ray of light. The important characteristic feature which is similar between a ray of light and a horse is to speed. But I don't know really. It is the ray of light is much faster than the horse. This is the reason the rays of sun are depicted as horses. Saptashvarathamarudam. Ashwa means Ashnute Vyapnoti Sarvatra. Very easy to understand Sanskrit, but we have to just go on chanting. Ashnute, light. Vyapnoti Sarvatra means spreading itself like light waves, Agni, Surya, and others. And what Rigveda said on Surya horses is that Sapta Yunjanti Rathameka Chakro Ashvo Vahati Saptanama. It is said in Rigveda, 1st Kanda, 164 Suktam and 2nd mantra. these riks are revealed in the Yajurveda. This verse makes it expressly clear that the sun's chariot has Eka Chakra, one wheel, and that it is drawn by Ekashva, only one horse, whose name is Sapta. Sapta yunjanti rathameka chakro ashvo vahati sapta nama. So, Eka Ashwa, one horse, whose name is Sapta. So, are there any 7 horses? No, there are no 7 horses. It is only one. So, Surya Bhagavan has got, what Rigveda said is that he has got a chariot which is made up of gold, and it is having Eka Chakra, and it has got only one horse, whose name is Sapta. This is the generic name for things that are on constant move, which Sayanacharya, as you all know, a great man of erstwhile Karnataka, Sayanacharya, we should really know. Once we have to talk on, one lecture should be there on Sayanacharya. I always feel that because he wrote from Rigveda to Atharva Veda. You consider Veda Samhitas, any number of available, and the Brahmanas, the Aranyakas, the Upanishads, he wrote in Sanskrit, the Bhashya. So Sayanacharya explains this one as 7 names here. And in the next immediate mantra of the Rigveda, Imam Rathamedhi ye sapta tastu sapta chakram sapta vahamtyasvaha. That is in the Rigveda first kanda, 164th hymn, 164 sukta, and third mantra. In the immediate next mantra of Rigveda, the chariot is being called Sapta Chakra, which is drawn by not 1 horse but 7. This naturally puzzled the commentators, and hence Sayanacharya comments on Chakra as race. So this is how this particular Rigveda has given the mantras. Just excuse me for a minute. It is unnecessarily coming here. So, after the Rigveda, what it said about Surya horses, here is the Aruna Prashna, what it said on Surya horses. Already this was chanted by Professor Prabhakar sir. Atam Agne Ratham Tishta, Eka Ashwameka Yojanam, Eka Chakrameka Dhuram, Vatadrajigatim Vibho, Narishyatin Navyathate. It is described that the chariot of sun god is with 1 wheel, Eka Chakram, which has 1 yoke, drawn by 1 horse, harnessed to go up to a yojana, that is 12 miles in 1 minute. So yojana, here is a new word, that is yojana is the Vedic measure of distance. 1 yojana is about 12 to 15 miles. So there is another mantra, Arogo Bhraja Patara Patangaha Swarnaro Jyotishimanu Vibhasaha. This single horse is having 7 names, Aroga, Bhraja, Patara, Patanga, Swarnara, Jyotishiman, and Vibhasa, providing illumination to the heaven and also the earth, which is in turn yields vigor and power. So if I go to another slide, this is on Surya Siddhanta, that is astrology. It is mentioned that different rays of sun are responsible for empowering Surya Mandalam. This particular thing I have taken from Surya Siddhanta sources, and it was also told in the Aditya Hrudayam lectures by Brahmasri Samavedam Sharmukha Sharma Garu. The ray Shushma empowers the planet moon. The ray Sampadvasu for Kuja. The ray Vishwakarma for Mercury. The ray Udavasu is for Jupiter. The ray Vishwavyachasu is for Venus. The ray Surat is for Saturn. And the ray Harikesha is for all pervading stars. That is how it is there in the Surya Siddhanta. I just made a gist for the slide's sake. So, in continuation of that astronomy from Surya Siddhanta, we consider both sunrise and sunset. From sunrise to sunset is for a day, which are bracketed into weeks, months, and years for basic calculations. Aditya is the timeless form, is the deity which goes around the universe emanating light from morning till evening. The body and the mind are energized by assimilating sun's rays. The movement of the sun is also related, according to astronomy. The chariot of the sun is drawn by 7 horses. This can be symbolized with a rainbow, and it is the appearance of chromatic light. The Saptavarnas are the Saptashvas, and the 12 leaves behind, and the 12 leaves on the chariot can be related to the 12 months or 12 constellations in any year. According to Puranas, and especially the first bullet point is from the Bhavishyat Purana, and the names of 7 horses of the sun are given as Jaya, Vijaya, Ajaya, Jitaprana, Jitashrama, Manojava, and Jitakrodha. These names are different intensity of light transmissions in a day by the sun, which are the epitome of power. And the essential 7 elements that constitute the human body are the skin, blood, flesh, fat, bone marrow, and semen. I have divided here bone and marrow, though they are, marrow is there in the bone itself, and this body, our body, chariots these elements. Aditya Paramatma is in the form of consciousness that manages these elements. This is given in the Garuda Purana and also Sarangadhara Samhita. Resume share. I don't know why this is. And Surya Bhagavan light rays and their benefits. If we see here that what I said from the previous slide, the Jaya, the first ray, bestows firm conviction. What are the benefits for human beings of these rays? It is the best. It bestows firm conviction, mental and physical strength, generosity, domination of others, and benevolence. And Vijaya is voracious reading, high thinking, and spiritual base. Ajaya gives compassion, tranquility, and intelligence, and inward understanding. Jitaprana, deep thinking, extremely kind, merciful. And Jitashrama grants high quality discipline, very knowledgeable and scientific evaluators. Manojava, dedication and devotion, sincere and pursues the path of truth. Jitakrodha, the deep evaluation, artistic taste in fine arts, and adoration of beauty, love for display. Why these things are said like this, these 7 rays of sun god, which were told in the Puranas. And you see how our great-grandmothers remembered these things. And they asked the mother with the infant baby to sit in these rays in the morning as well as after 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. These rays are very dominant during those times. So that is how maybe the infants would get these things, voracious reading. Why not all human beings are voracious readers? So it is very difficult to say this, but the understanding is that it is a great work on the Sanatana Dharma part, which is telling us to follow for the future generations too. In Srimad Ramayana, the Sanatana Dharma considers Aditya, Surya, Bhanu as a form of Vedas, that is Vyomanathas Tamobhedi Rugjayus Sama Paragaha. Aditya Hridayam 13th mantra, which is telling this. And in the Surya Upanishad, Tam eva pratyaksham rugasi, Tvameva pratyaksham rugasi, Tvameva pratyaksham ejurasi, Tvameva pratyaksham samasi, Tvameva pratyaksham atharvasi, Tvameva pratyaksham chandosi. In the Surya Upanishad, these are given, that is nothing but you are the manifestation of all the Chaturvedas and the Veda Chandas. And hence, Hanuman and Yajnavalkya Rishi became Vedic students under Guru Surya Bhagavan due to their devotion. It is giving me trouble in going to the next slide. I think this was the 5 sense. He talked about, Professor Prabhakar sir talked about this. The 5 sense organs, the Jnanendriyas in the human body, namely the skin, the eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, which is given in the Garuda Purana, are driven by the conscious intelligence, the Aditya, in the form of light that resides in the heart in the shape of a minute end part of the paddy grain. Nivara Shuka Vattanvi Pitabha Swatyanupama. Again, Taitri Aranyaka, Mahanarayana Upanishad, Narayana Suktam, this is there. Nivara means paddy. Shuka Vattanvi Pitabha Swatyanupama. So, He who resides in the heart of every human being in the form of a end part of the paddy grain, which you can see certain times with your eyes. He is there. Surya Bhagavan is there, and he is the one who is riding us with these 5 Jnanendriyas, and which is said in the Garuda Purana. In the Devi Bhagavata Purana, the sun god is in the form of Arka in the Kundalini snake shape that stretches from Mooladhara to Sahasrara, and the 7 horses form the 7 chakrasthanas in the path. This is the source in the Devi Bhagavata Purana. And as a scientist, I cannot leave this without explaining some of these things. And the sun god, what is his influence on plants and human life? The collective phenomena of plants using the sunlight, the water absorbed by the roots, and the atmospheric carbon dioxide, it is taken inside by the plants, which is the phenomena called photosynthesis, that is manufacturing of food material by taking the sunlight as energy. So you can see here the CO2, that is the water that is taken by the roots, the carbon dioxide plus water that is available in the plants, it forms the sucrose and releases the oxygen, which human beings have been using these things. So during this process, the ultimate end product, either grains, fruits, etc. from the plants, and the plant releases the oxygen, are the most important for the survival of human beings. So just imagine 1 second, for my sake, take out the sun Bhagavan, Surya Bhagavan from your eyes, and then see whether we can eat any day, whether we can run any day, or we can walk any day, or we will have the metabolism in our lives on a day-to-day basis to do the home activities and the work and other things. All this energy is given by Surya Bhagavan, the sun god. And without his interference and without his presence, this entire universe will be in dark. And in conclusions, I would like to say the magnificence Pratyaksha Narayana, which I already said certain things, is neither escapable nor ignorable at any time or season. Yet, like Kalamana or the time cycle, one's age might wither and memory might dry up in the struggle for existence, but the sun god is there forever and ever. The Vedic scriptures state that the movement of the sun horses in the sun rays, dispensing light waves, the solar energy that emanates from the sun rays takes the shape of Hiranmaya, that is the pure appearance of the sun Bhagavan. And it can be said that mere theoretical knowledge is insufficient. We should become Professor Prabhakar. Then only that theoretical knowledge is insufficient to understand the depth of Sanatana Dharma. Why we cannot talk like him? His blood flows with Sanatana Dharma. Professor Prabhakar's blood flows with Sanatana Dharma. One should continuously practice, engage in mystic ceremonial worship to comprehend and reap the Sanatana Dharma and its benefits. And in the end, Askaraya vidmahe mahachutikaraya dhimahi tanno aditya prachodayat. May we perform pradakshana namaskaras or that is called as circumambulatory greetings to the Pratyaksha Narayana Bhaskara, the original cause, radiance, and illumination of Trilokas, for uprooting darkness and bestow life and sustenance to all the beings, and demolish Ajnana or the ignorance, to lead us the Jyoti. Asatoma Sadgamaya, Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya, Murutyorma Amrudangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I thank Professor Prabhakar and the Nada Veda Adhyayana Kendra, Dr. Anjanaya Prasad, and others for giving me the opportunity to learn along with you of certain things that are there in the Sanatana Dharma. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ratha. Very, very wonderful talk. You have covered so many bases, so many references, and all the popular things we know about Surya, you have compiled in a very, very nice format. And the ending touch with your, biology and botany and, plant knowledge, you have again coupled it with Surya. Very unique perspective there also. It's an excellent talk. Thank you so much. Nana, you want to give some remarks? You're muted, so you can unmute.
So before we listen some slokas on Aditya Hridayam, a most important summary of the entire Aditya information available in the scriptures before Ramayana, Valmiki Maharshi has put forth that in Aditya Hridayam, and we would listen to some more slokas from that afterwards. But meanwhile, I like to thank Dr. Raghava Garu. He has himself given a footnote to his lecture to arrange to have a talk upon Sayanacharya's contribution. He has himself written the Bhumika for Veda, Rigveda, and it is true that nobody has written anything on Sayanacharya or spoken much about him. And there are only hardly few expositions on the Bhumika that Sayanacharya has done it. In fact, I think Wilson is the first person who relied upon Sayana's commentary of Rigveda and made a translation of Rigveda on the basis of Sayanacharya. And Sayanacharya is taken as a ladder to climb up the heights of beauty and knowledge, etc. of Vedas. But for Sayanacharya, there is no light at all. It is something like Dandin, who said, Idamandham tamah kritsnam jayeta bhuvanatrayam yadi sabdahvayam jyotihi asamsaram natipyate. So sabdahvayam jyotihi is Surya Bhagavan. And because Surya jyotihi, Agni jyotihi. So like that we make offerings to Surya Bhagavan and Agni Deva. Agni in the night upon the earth and Surya upon in the sky. So both of them interchange their position. Dinante nihitam tejaha. Even Kalidas says, Dinante nihitam tejaha savitreva hutasanaha. So there is plenty. Even in the classical Sanskrit literature and elsewhere, you observe so many people have been trying to explore the secrets of Surya Bhagavan. And moreover, our Raghava Garu has built that there are 7 suns. So 3 suns are there above the Meru mountain, where Kashyapa stays above the father. And 3 suns are there down the Meru mountain, connected to the earth and giving. So the first 3 suns above the Meru mountain are very cool. So they provide a lot of comfort and luxury and coziness. While the other 3 suns down the Meru upon the earth, they are providing us heat. Like that, sun is a combination of both heat and light. That's why we have got that in Surya Sukta, which Vasan recited. He gives Hima, he gives Atapa, he gives rain, he gives cloud, everything. And therefore, sun is all in all. And the entire world would have been of no activity, Sabdah Vayam Jyotihi. And regarding Shabda also, there is a beautiful investigation done by the Vedic students. Ko antarikshe Shabdam karoti iti vasishthauro hino mima gumsam chakre vasre bhavidyuditi. So when you see that the quest and research is not only now, even in the Vedas themselves, the Vedic students, Rishi Kumaras, they put on questions. Brahma Vijignasasva. So tapas is the only one medium through which so much of knowledge and material has been explored to us. And therefore here antarikshe ko sabdam karoti. Gaganam, if you look at the sky, it is sunyam. But in the sunyam, that you find the sound rumblings. Ko antarikshe sabdam karu. Vasishtha and Rohini, they are the two students. We don't know the rough work that they did, but we only know the result. Because in mathematics, to solve, we are given right side big margin, where we show the rough work. And that rough work also is eligible to get marks. If your rough work is get, the teacher, mathematics teacher has to assign marks to that also, though sometimes the answer is not correct. That's why any problem worked out will definitely fetch you marks and improve your score. Like that, here also we don't know the rough work. That is only we have to do it. Tapasa Brahma Vijignasasva. So ultimately, Vasreva Vidyuditi. So in the light, when the heat and wind combustion will produce sound. So also it is something like the bellowing of the bull. So that is also like that. There are so many meanings assigned to say that there is a lot of sound, there is a lot of light, everything. And on the other hand, it is said the Surya Bhagavan is Punyasya Vatsaha and also is Ratreer Vatsaha. So Ratri is in the heaven. Surya, that's Aruna Prashna says, Ratri is in heaven, light is upon the earth. So when sun comes, he goes. That's why he's the child of night. Surya Bhagavan is the child of night. That means we will be there in the Ratri Garbha. And so for Sadhyo Jatam Prapadyami Sadhyo Jataya Vai Namo Namaha. So Sadhyo Jata, whenever he's Jata, he's bright and brilliant and no darkness can be there. So like that. And moreover, just now he referred to the plants and all that. So the flower, which we are enjoying, its fragrance, its look and all that. Flower is most beautiful. Everybody want to become a flower in life. Flower is wisdom. That's why Yopam Pushpam Veda Pushpavan Prajavan Pasuman Bhavati. What a nice suggestion is given. Pushpa is the wisdom. Flower is the wisdom. And so Praja is the children or samsara. So anybody who is upon the earth, if he were to know the Apam Pushpam, then he will be having the wisdom at the same time, progeny and continuation of generations. So double benefit is there upon the earth. And what is all that? Agni, Vayu, Surya, and ultimately Samvatsaravo Apamayatanam. And moreover, Ayatanam is one which we should have a residence. So what house we build upon the earth is only temporary. But you have to make another house like Alayam for us once we leave the ground, the earth. Therefore, in Ishavasya Upanishad, the same Yajurveda says, Asurya nama te loka andhena tamasa vrutaha. See, we don't want to go to Asura, Asurya lokas, Naraka lokas. And in order to avoid that Asurya loka, Surya only should help us. Therefore, this is Tasma, this Uttara Purvasyam, this Vishadi Narakaha, Tasman Paripahi. It is only Surya who has to give us the bypass journey. When we are going, we don't want to seize the bus stand of the Narakalokam. We must have a bypass, something like when you are going to long distances, you don't go into the city or bus stand or all that. So Surya, Papa Nirbhanti Sarvata, which means that he is always constantly engaged, something like Venkatamana Swami. See, Venkata Ramana, we call Balaji. Vam is sin. Kata is removal. Ramana is enjoyment. He is never tired. Anybody, anytime goes, Nanatho, Nanatha, Sada, Venkatesam Smarami, smarami. Always we remember him. So we have all these things that we come down to the earth to clean up ourselves, Papa. And when once little or more we get completely cleaned up, still on the walls of our body, there will be still sticking. Then in Bhagavatam, Krishna says at one place that supposing the whole sins or karma is reduced, but if at all some remnant of karma sticking to the walls of our zone, then that he will clear. Krishna has got the grace marks. He will clear even that which is sticking to our body, which we could not totally erase. Something like in America or elsewhere, when snowfall is there, that those to shovel the snow, people come, but they cannot shovel as much as sun can do it. Sun would be absolutely clear and water and afterwards evaporation. So that's what Papa Nirghanti Paramatma gives it. So Aruna Prashna or Surya Upanishad or all the sources, even in Puranas and all that. So just I want to talk about the flower. A flower is the product of sun, soil, water, moon, and air. So all the amshas of all these things are there, then only you will get the flower. See, when in the evening, you will see the bud. In the morning, you will see the blossoming of that. So whole night, Chandrama will work upon the bud and make it allow it to become flower right in the morning. Even Parijata, and so in the mornings, Parijata flowers are found on the ground, not in the evening. So like that, there is a lot of influence of Surya Bhagavan upon this earth, people, and not only that, even gods. So as you see all mantras, the gods are, all other gods are waiting to become Aditya-like, identification with Aditya. So that's why, yeah, there is no, the Aditya is supreme. He's a Parabrahma. Aditya is Parabrahma, and so on. And because our Raghav Garu has given wonderful
I think there's a couple of people with questions. Yeah, so I would like people to ask questions because Rajesh.
I'll stop. Hello, before you.
He has a question. Yes.
Yeah, I will just stop.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let Raghav Garu answer all that.
Namaskaram, Dr. Prabhakar Garu. Namaskaram, Dr. Raghav Garu. Namaskaram. Thank you so much. It's very informative. Yeah. ఒక ప్రశ్న అండి, మనమంటే పార్థివ దేహంలో ఎప్పుడైతే చైతన్యం ఉంటుందో అప్పుడు మనం శివుడు అనుకుంటాం, శుభకరుడు, మంగళుడు. అలాగే ప్రతి ఈ భూమి మీద ఉన్న ప్రతి జీవరాశుల్లో శివుని చూసి మనం సో when we see this body, right, when a body is live, we see that Shiva is there and we call Shiva Shubhudu, Mangalakarudu. Same is applicable to plants or animals or anything, but only the difference between the Shiva and other gods in the Panchayatana Puja compared to the Surya. Surya is also one of the god in the Panchayatana Puja. He is called Pratyaksha Daivam, whom we can feel, not only feel but also see. The other gods, Shiva, Vishnu, Amavaru and Ganapati, others we cannot see them directly. So what is the reason? I mean, why sun is special?
So as you rightly said, the end slide, what I felt was that, so for the human beings, as well as how without sun rays, how plants can do the photosynthesis, and how can we get the food material for the human beings to use and eat and live and sustain. So for that reason, that is one of the reasons. But there are certain mantras that are told in the, revealed in the Aruna Prashna, is also says that for the other grahas, that is Venus and others, for them Mercury and others, to withstand in their positions, Surya Bhagavan has to be there according to astronomy. So this is also told in the Aruna Prashna. So these are some of those things that I can get right away, that to clarify your doubt, that Surya Bhagavan's presence is absolutely important, and all the gods are immersed in this entire Surya Bhagavan. Whether you say Amma or Ganapati or any other god, so they are all in as like the Vedas, the Rig, Yajus, Sama Vedas. So how they are there, how they are with him, and how they have come out from him. So this is also like that. I think like that. Any other comments, Professor Prabhakarji?
And also other religions do worship the Lord Surya Bhagavan.
Surya Bhagavan.
Other religions.
Because he is seen, as you said.
Other religions do that. Yes. Yeah.
So we have got the expression Urjam Dadhati. Surya Urjam is food. All that required for the people living upon the earth. And to give Urjam in multiple forms, all that, Surya Bhagavan takes little water vapors from ocean during the summer season. And what little he takes, he multiplies and gives complete food for a whole day. That's why there in Aruna Prashna, Durbhiksham Devalokeshu Manona Mudakam Gruhe Etavacha Pravadanti, etc. So Devalokeshu Durbhiksham, because whatever could be done is done during the rainy season. And whatever could be done, that is all done upon the earth. So he will be supplying. That's why if you go and ask for a God's house and water, they say, sorry, go to the man, because they have reserved the water in their houses, not elsewhere. That means the earth has stationed a lot of water inside. That's why we dig wells and we make bore wells and all that. So we get water from the earth when we cannot. That's why the Surya Bhagavan is doing such a tremendous help to all beings, the material wealth and all that to people. And therefore, another point is Surya is different. Surya Samatejaha. Nobody will say Surya Tejaha. That is exclusively his personal unique asset. And if at all anybody is rising in anything, they will say Surya Samatejaha, Aditya Samatejaha. And Aditya, so that's why there is only parallelism obtained, but never overpowering or attacking Surya Bhagavan is impossible. So like that, there is that kind of exclusiveness of personality and integrity, etc., kept up for Surya Bhagavan, and we only imitate him. And on the other hand, Surya is also concerned with the Sanatana Dharma observance, as our Raghava has been insisting, Sanatana Dharma, because anybody who is trying to follow that and reach some level of distinction, Surya Bhagavan is little scared. Sanyastam Brahmanam Drishtva Sthana Chaladi Bhaskaraha is one statement by Parasara Maharshi. In that he says, the moment he observes a Brahmin does not mean by birth Brahmin, by tapas, by practice. Brahmavit Brahmanaha. So hundreds of differences there. Brahmavit Brahmanaha. Sa Brahmano Bhavati. Like that we have statements. So anybody who adopts tapasa, Brahma Vijigna Sasva Tapo Brahmeti. So when tapas is Brahma, that means Brahmana is doing a lot of achara, anuchara and all that. So sthana chalati bhaskara. The word chalana is there. So Bhaskara is not afraid at all. But when a real Brahmin were to take to that Tyaga Buddhi, Tyage Naike Amrutatva Manusuhu, because he makes himself eligible to get the Amruta position. Therefore, Surya Bhagavan will try to react or respond to such type of top Brahmins. So we have so many answers given by our Rishis. So the Rishis have not kept us in doubt. Because
there's one more question. There's one more question by Sri Raghavan sir. Raghavan sir, one more question.
Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha. This is Raghavan from Bengaluru. Very informative talk, Mr. Raghava Buddapalli. Thank you so much. And I have one question. As you rightly mentioned, there are 7 horses with there are 7 chandas for the 7 horses named after 7 chandas. Most of the times when we use the mantras like Gayatri mantras and when we do Yagnopavita mantras, etc., we use Gayatri Chandas or Anustup Chandas, etc. But rarely see the other Chandas. We'll never, I mean, as far my knowledge is concerned, never uses other Chandas. I mean, is there are any other examples where we use other Chandas like Brihati Chandas, as you Ushnik Chandas? I mean, can you, for my knowledge sake, I wanted to know that.
Very much. They are very much available in the Rig Veda and Yajurveda and other Vedas. The Chaturvedas are the ones where you will find, as you said, Gayatri, the other mantras you will, as you see in regular mantras. But the Veda mantras, particular Veda mantras, have got Ushnik, Trishtup, Jagati, and if you see, there is Krishna Yajurveda Samhita is and with Brahmanam and Aranyakam, there is Swahakara Vidhi, there is some yajnas are there. So in those yajnas, where all these mantras will come with Swahakaram, and these mantras will say what is the Devata for this each mantra, and what is the chandas for this each mantra, and what are the bijakshas that are present in this Veda mantra. But some of these bij mantras should not be chanted outside. So that is sampradayam. So gurus will say that you should not chant Raghava like this. In Aruna Prashna, there are particular mantras where we should not chant loudly, like how we do regularly. Arogo Brajak Patarah Patangaha Swarnaro Jyotishimanu Vibhasa. So like that we chant Aruna Prashna. But at one place, there are about 10 to 12 mantras which the pregnant people should not listen to those mantras.
Ashtayoni, Ashtaputra.
Ashtapattidim. So those things we should not chant loudly. Correct. So which Prabhakar sir knows very well. So that is the thing. So some of those things they have, the rishis, they have put like that because they are well experienced before that. And that is, so sometimes, so you will find these chandas, as you said, Ushnik and other things will definitely in Rig Veda and Yajurveda also. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Dr. Chandra Reddy, you have a question?
Namaskaram, Raghu Garu.
Namaskaram.
Really wonderful and very enlightening, and you have given the knowledge of the 7 hours is full of available for the 7 days worth, and we're really blessed with that. My question is that earlier speaker mentioned about this Panchayatana Puja and Shiva being the Adi Guru and the central figure, and Surya Bhagavan has been mentioned with in the west and east with all religions. They followed the Surya Bhagavan. And because it's expressed Vekta, right? It's because of the expressed Sagunakara Adibheva. Because all these Vedas and Upanishads are not reachable by the common folk, Bhagavad Gita is the common text everybody follows. I'm curious and I wonder how many times Lord Bhagavan Surya or Surya name has been mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita.
Excellent question, sir. Very nice, Mr. Dr. Reddy. So, Chandra Reddy Garu. So, I was exactly picking up this point while I was preparing the presentation. But very unfortunately, due to lack of time and also because of this is Magha Masa, I'm going for Parayana every day for the Aruna Prashna Parayana with a group of people here. So I could not compile this one. But I have got, there are about 49 or around that number. It has come that in Bhagavad Gita with Surya Bhagavan's name has come in that. So let me, if I can get your email ID, I think I can give you the complete number and also some of these mantras where all it has come. I can quote in the chapters in the Gita. Thank you, sir. Yeah, it's a good question. I liked it.
Thank you.
So we have Aditya Hridayam chanting planned. So we'll go with it right now. Sudha, are you there? Okay. So now you can give a little extra remark. I will try to find the speaker.
So yeah, Chandra Reddy Garu is also a scientist like our Raghava. He's also a doctor, but he is really into the spiritual path of life and trying to understand, unravel so many things. And this is a good question where he asked about Surya Bhagavan's role in Bhagavad Gita. So now she's ready to give slokas.
Yeah, Sudha, go ahead.
Namaskaram. I will recite sloka 6 to 25 in Aditya Hridayam. Rasmi mantam samujyantam deva sura namaskrutam pujayasva vivastasvam bhaskaram bhuvaneshwaram sarva devatmako heshya tejasvi rasmi bhavanaha yesha deva suraganan lokan patikabastibhi yesha brahmascha vishnuscha Sivaskandascha prajapatihi mahendrodanadah kalo yamasomo hyapampatihi pitaropavanassadvo rusvino maruto manuhu vayurvahnih praja prana ritukarta prabhakaraha aditya savita surya kagah pusha gabhastiman suvarna sadruso bhanuhu Swarnareta Divakaraha Haridaswas Sahasrascha Sapti Ramichiman Timiror Madhana Sambu Swashta Martanda Angsuman Hiranyagarbha Sisira Stavano Bhaskaro Ravihi Agnigarbho Dite Putra Shanka Sisira Nasanaha Vyomanada Stamo Bhedo Rugya Josama Sparagaha Ghanavrushtirapam Mitro Vinja Vidhi Plavangamaha Atapi Mandali Mruchuhu Pingala Sarvatapanaha Ravis Visvo Mahatejo Rakta Sarva Bhavodbhavaha Nakshetragraha Tarana Madhavo Viswabhavanaha Tejasamapasi Tejasvi Dwadasatma Namostute Namapurvaya Giraye Paschime Giraye Namaha Jyotirgana Nampataye Dinadhipataye Namaha Jayaya Jaya Bhadraya Haryasvaya Namo Namaha Namo Namah Sahasramso Adityaya Namo Namaha Nama Ugraya Viraya Sarangaya Namo Namaha Namah Padma Prabodaya Martandaya Namo Namaha Brahme Sanastute Saya Surya Dichaya Vachase Bhasvate Sarva Bhakshaya Raudraya Vapushe Namaha Tapognaya Himajnaya Sritugnaya Mitatmane Krutaknyaya Devaya Jyoti Shampataye Namaha Tapta Chami Karabhaya Vahnaye Visvakarmane Namastamo Bhivijnaya Ravaye Lokasakshine Nasaya Chesha Vaibhutam Tajjai Vasrujiti Prabhu Payatyesha Tapetyesha Vachasesha Gabastirihi Yesha Stupteshu Jagarta Bhuteshu Parinishtitaha Yesha Chaivagnihrotrancha Palam Chaivagnihrotrinam Vedascha Krutavachesha Krutanam Falamevacha Yani Kruchani Lokeshu Sarva Yeshu Ravi Prabhu Yeva Matpatsu Krutyeshu Kantareshu Bhayeshu Cha Kirtiman Purushah Kaschi Nava Sidati Raghava.
Thank you. Thank you, Sudha. So, shall we go to the remarks by Charan Maniktala? Please, sir, if you're there. Charan sir, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Give me a second. I was gonna put something on the screen, see if I can. Let's see. Can you see something on the screen now, or?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, very good.
So it's at the end of the page. Maybe you want to go to the beginning.
Is this the big? This is the very first slide.
Okay. So I see a Word document, Darshan Shastra's article. Maybe that's not.
I apologize. That's not what we want. Let me try another way. And does it show Rig Veda 1.50 now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think Dr. Prabhakar made a side comment while he was summarizing Dr. Raghava's presentation when he said Krishna will give few grace marks, and I think today with this discussion and this forum, all of us are gonna get some grace marks from Krishna. I think the comprehension and the discussions were such in-depth and comprehensive. I am confident Devas are very pleased with us today, So thank you, Dr. Raghavan. I'm always thrilled to be in the company of discoverers and scientists who continue to reveal the mystery of life within and around us. I always acknowledge them as a part of our rich lineage of rishis and thinkers who brings us a step closer to live a life full of awareness and swadhyay. I think that's an important word for all of us. It is unimaginable to think of life without Surya. And obviously, me being also a scientist, I liked the very last slide that Dr. Raghava put on the screen. In fact, life blossoms at the sunrise, be it the plant or animal kingdom, unicellular or multicellular. And in the terminology of your field, I understand you are a biotechnologist, specifically prokaryotes and eukaryotes. That's a biological term. Life as we know shall cease to exist, rightfully stated by you, Dr. Raghava, if Surya does not initiate the photosynthesis process on the leaves of the trees and plants. Photosynthesis not only sustains the food chain, we are all a part of the food chain for all the species in the world, but also provides us the breath of life or prana, and in your terminology of the scientific domain, as you mentioned, oxygen. This cycle of creation, which is Brahma, sustenance, which is Vishnu, and dissemination, Mahesh, has been in continuum since the origin of life and consciousness in our universe. And Surya has been the root of it. So I've taken a lot of notes while you were describing and filled several pages. I would not go through all of them. That's for my own personal world, as they say. But I'll share select points that you mentioned, which really caught my attention. And I have highlighted that with an asterisk. You mentioned about Surya as the source of wisdom, and which Dr. Prabhakar also affirmed in his review. One of the things that I did not know before, which I just learned today, is on the 12 names of Surya Bhagavan that you mentioned, and one being the Hiranyagarbha itself. That to me was something I learned today, which was exceptional. You talked about when reviewing the Aditya, the Vishnu Swarup in evening is the Surya Bhagavan. You talked about the Gayatri Mantra, which was 3-62-10, and then you defined the 4 different terminologies in there. Specifically, you explained the Su Dhan Kyab for the Surya, one of the terminologies that was, so I made a good note of that as well. You talked about Sun Yantra, the Surya Yantra, and which was also very knowledgeable for me and for all of us. The object of meditation center is the Om, and which is embedded in the triangle. And you mentioned it is a life-changing experience for you and would be for everyone if we follow those steps and those references. Then obviously you gave us references from various scriptures, from Vedas, from Puranas. You talked about the 7, which was the theme of today's presentation, the 7 horses. You cited from Chaturveda Samhitas 7 Vedic meters, which was very insightful. And then you named those 7 meters, which again was very insightful experience for me personally. And I heard some discussions go on in terms of Gayatri being the meter that has been used very frequently. How about the other meters as well? As a scientist, you brought in the name of C.V. Raman when the 7 when the 7 colors of the sun rays you were describing. So thank you for that. Obviously, we are all proud of the contributions of C.V. Raman, our Nobel laureate. Then you started giving us where you saw the anomalies in terms of interpretations of that 7. You talked about Rigveda 1-164-2, where you mentioned 1 horse named as Sapta. And while you were describing, Dr. Prabhakar rightfully guided us as well that the 1 horse with 7 heads. And that was very insightful as well. You talked about Sapta Chakra, which is the illuminating rays. You gave a lot of references on Aruna Prashna. Obviously, all of us and all of you meet on a regular basis reviewing the Aruna Prashna, and you mentioned one wheel, 1 year, 1 horse, but the addition in there was the yajna, which is 12 miles per minute. So that was an addition that was brought in from the Aruna Prashna side. You talked about Surya Siddhanta, which is different rays illuminating different planets. And you talked about, and one of the rays caught my attention as well, which is the Harikesha, which is pervading for all the stars. So obviously that I made a note as well. You gave us guidance on the Garuda Prana and the references in there. And you obviously mentioned Jaya, Vijaya, Ajaya, all the 7 references in there, talked about the physiological composition of us on the blood, flesh, fat, bone, and so on and so forth. And the word you used was consciousness controlling that. So I'm very glad you brought in that word and terminology that is personally of a lot of interest to me. And I'm always on a lookout, as Dr. Prabhakar always tells me, my antennas are up all the time, looking for such insights from different sources. One of the good things you mentioned about various rays giving different states of mind, that was very insightful. Our parents, when we were little kids, used to take us, my mother strongly believed in the sunbathing all the time. That was her daily ritual. And the time frames you mentioned in the morning and after 3:30 in the afternoon was very insightful as well. And then obviously you mentioned the Garuda Prana, and you indicated that the light, Aditya is the light in the heart. And that was again very insightful. So these are the selective points I thought I'll reverberate. I will again re-emphasize and share that with everyone. Now in my world, and hopefully in everyone's world, a life giver who does not ask anything in return is Bhagavan. The word bhaga is derived from the root word bhaja, which stands for to dispense, to grant, to bestow. So I wake up early morning hours of the dawn, eagerly awaiting for darshana of Surya Bhagavan, and be it day or night, I keep the windows of my bedroom unobstructed with no shades, so that Surya Bhagavan may enter and bless us to remove our ignorance and darkness. What caught my attention while reviewing Rig Veda with Dr. Prabhakar, I came across this sukta, which is Rig Veda 1.50, and I thought I'll spend a couple minutes on that, obviously as a personal preference. So this sukta, as Dr. Raghava also mentioned, we always need to tell who the Rishi is, who is the Devata, Chandas, and the Swara. So obviously, Kanva is the Rishi, Devata is Surya, Chandas is Gayatri again, and Swara obviously is the Swara. So it starts with obviously sun carrying the banner and the universe watching it, what I did is I translated word by word. I did not change or put a narrative on that. No, obviously there are several verses in that sukta. We would not go through all of those, but there are select few which caught my attention, which is relevant for today's discussion, which is the verse 2, which is what I have highlighted actually in different colors. As Dr. Raghava mentioned, one of the interpretations was the spectrum of colors. So I picked the colors based upon that. We all know it's the visible light goes from violet all the way till red with some intermediate. So I picked these three, which I thought are again relevant, and color coded them with violet, green, and red. So let's look at that. So here is the verse 8 and 9, where we see the reference of 7 horses. A lot of references were done earlier by Dr. Raghava. So Sapta, we see that, which is 7, Harito, which is the horse. So we see the word being used very succinctly in defining Surya Bhagavan and riding a chariot with the 7 horses. One of the things which caught my attention is the last section of this verse, Tabhirayati. So from that point onwards, just keep a note of it, which is same, disappear, independent method. So my interpretation came across as 7 colors, but when the visible light shows, they all merge and they disappear, and there is a method behind the whole process. So our Rishis and the Rishis were very, obviously, they had their perceptions very observant on how they defined these verses. On the spiritual aspect is the next one, which I had coded in green color. And we look at the word tamas, and that's where the Rishi Khanwa's guidance to us is the ignorance being removed by the luminosity of the Surya. So that was the spiritual aspect that was reviewed. And the last thing is the medicinal aspect, which I highlighted in red. And we clearly see Rishi's guidance on Hirdayarogam and Harimana. And one stands for the heart disease and the other one for the jaundice. So they knew, they guided us on the medicinal values of sun rays as well. And they included that in defining these suktas and these verses. So again, I really appreciate your time and Dr. Raghava, and thank you again for leading Surya prayers for us on this auspicious day of Ratha Saptami. And we are very thankful for your contributions, both in the Vedic and in the scientific spheres. Shri Krishna Arapam. Thank you.
Thank you, Charan sir. It's a very great summary, recall of everything salient in the talk. Thank you so much for that.
1 second.
And,
Prabhu, ఒక్క నిమిషం. See, tomorrow is the 60th birthday baby, Dr. Saranji. And on this day, we wish Surya Bhagavan, bless him, full life, Sampurna Ayuhu. And especially, he has an opportunity to share some ideas on this auspicious day, the birthday. Let us all wish and pray Bhagavan and wish him full life. Sampurna Ayush. Thank you very much, sir. Charanji.
Thank you, Dr. Prabhakar.
Thanks for reminding us, Prabhakar sir. I wish you a very, very happy birthday and many happy returns of the day and in advance. And thank you so much, Dr. Charanji. You also did some research in the Rig Veda, and it was very nice that you brought that Harita and all these things, which are very important mantras on Surya Bhagavan. Thank you so much. Very nice of you.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Dr. Raghava.
Thank you.
Now Raghava will make some more. Raghavan makes a few comments, and afterwards we'll have a vote of thanks.
Sure, sir.
So that Raghava Tatacharya is waiting. He's also a diligent student of Taruna Prashna Surya Bhagavan. He is a software engineer moving 13 countries on his own professional way. Please give our comment for a while.
Thank you very much, Dr. Raghava sir. It was very, very informative talk. We learned so much on various aspects, as Mr. Charan mentioned. Everything he covered. Whatever I wanted to tell, he mentioned everything. Absolutely nothing to do. He covered almost everything. All the points, whatever he supposed to be. I need to talk, he covered everything, all aspects. Thanks so much, Charan. What I wanted to tell you, you told everything. Thank you so much for your talk. I request Dr. Guruji, Mr. Prabhakar to arrange such type of informative talks in a regular basis.
As you asked, Mr. Raghavan, I remember Sri Rudram is in Anushtup Chandas. Sri Rudram mantras are in Anushtup Chandas. And like that, if you give me your email ID, I can send you certain of those things which are all in the mantras and in which Chandas it is there. Thank you. And actually, Dr. Charan's, I could see my presentation in a different way, and very nicely he has put it, and absolutely he has a tremendous grasp on the things that the presenter has presented. Very nice of him.
Actually, he covered almost all the points. I was very impressed of his talk also.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
It's great. It's great.
Costly, I can. We can. It's concluding session, or still somebody. Some comments.
Yeah, we have Bharat sir will give a few remarks. Yes. Yeah, I don't know if he has any more to say after our Charan Singh's remarks, but I'm just teasing. Bharat sir, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. My job is vote of thanks or remarks and vote of thanks.
you can do whatever you want. Yes, I would say you can give a remarks and vote of thanks.
Yeah. Thank you so much, because it's already time is exceeded, but time is very short. Very, very interesting. I don't know how the time is passed so fast, because the topic is very interesting. I just wanted to do one Dhyana Shloka. Aneka Ratna Samyuktam Swarna Manikya Bhushanam Kalpavriksha Samakirnam Kadamba Kusuma Priyam Japa Kusuma Sankasham Dvibhujam Padmahastakam Sindhurarambha Malyancha Rakta Gandhanu Lepanam Manikya Ratna Kachitam Sarvabharana Bhushitam Saptashvara Rathavaham Tu Merun Chaiva Pradakshinam. So today's topic regarding this horse, Dr. Raghava sir, you have done a wonderful job. Really speaking, I have been listening to so many, and the Surya Bhagavan is again and again coming and lighting all our energy here. And Veda, our classes are going well. Dr. Prabhakarji is really Surya Bhagavan's another avatar for us. So nicely, every day is so much involved in this activity is called so-called this yajna, and this yajna is continuously happening in our day-to-day life. And one or other way, daily basis, we are touching these Veda books. We are praying, doing a lot of prayers, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, daily basis. All that with the blessing of Lord Aditya. He is also visible to us, very easy. Morning till evening we are with him. And in the night, there is all these plants and all that, they do their work. And next day morning, you are ready with food, light, and all that. And you have very nicely covered about the chariot and Surya Siddhanta and 7 dhatus, Rasa, Rakta, Mamsa, Medas, Asti, Virya, Shukra, 7 colors, and maybe Sapta Swaras also. I don't know, it's so many things within that. And then 12 months, how we are connected, how the change happens, time, everything is, we are Adhyayana of that great Lord, but we are a Swatantra as well. It is amazing relationship between the Surya Bhagavan and all of us together. And you are all Veda scholars, and from my background of this engineering software and all that, when we hear this, we get the real energy and real power. And today, especially the way you brought the energy, that Surya Bhagavan's energy was there with you when you are explaining, and you forgot about yourself. You are deep inside that. We also enjoyed your swimming on that. And it was really, really fantastic. The whole that 2 hours gone just like that.
Kept
Thank you so much. Again and again, I would like to hear from you, your expert knowledge. And a part of vote of thanks, I should say that our Guruji, Dr. Prabhakar, you are the source of all these things for us. And almost every month we are getting one or the other great people coming and talking to us. And today, your remark before and your remarks after that, it was, perfect blend of what we are supposed to get from this, and we got it fully. Thank you so much, Dr. Ji. And our Guruji Vasan, you have also done a great job in the beginning by Veda Kusumanjali, and after that, Miss Suman Shloka was very good. Anish Shloka, fantastic, and Dr. Prasad and Madam, they have done a flute, and that Shloka was very, very melodious.
That was super, actually.
It's very, very melodious.
Yes,
and super.
and I was telling my mother here behind, the flute was excellent. Yes. Of course, Madam's voice we know very well. But the flute was excellent, and I congratulate that boy. And he's, I know he may be Dr. Anjana Prasad's son, but excellent. I think he will really do a great job further. Yeah.
Yes. And they're all in the...
Sorry to stop you.
There's a huge future for them. Thank you so much, sir. And Sudha Madam has done Aditya Hridayam, and with full devotion, sitting on the floor. It was very, very good. And Dr. Charanji, every time I'm listening to you, you go deeper, deepest possible on that Rigveda, and you're referring and then coming back with your own idea. It is also amazing today. Then Raghavan, Chandra Reddy, sir, both of you also, you have added your remarks with the full involvement. And overall, today's session was amazing. And the listening, all we listeners, we thoroughly enjoyed. And we would like to have more and more these kind of things. Thank you so much. Thanks to all. And Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you, Mr. Bhatt.
We have next talk on this Dakshinamurti Stotram, Surya and Dakshinamurti. So next 20th, Aswath, a great scholar from India, living in America, who is a teacher, he will be trying to explain the science, religion, and philosophy from Dakshinamurti Stotram. So Shankaracharya is not small fellow. He's everybody. So he has involved, especially Dakshinamurti Stotram, so much of scientific and all material, so that every day reciting Dakshinamurti Stotram, he will take care of us in a number of ways. So try to make your calendar marked with Dakshinamurti on 20th, the next Sunday, sir. Thank you very much. Now,
yeah.
the
So
concluding
Vasan
prayer.
sir, Shanti Mantra.
With your permission, I can
please.
chant one mantra.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, sure.
Brahman Brahmano Brahmavarsaji Jayatam Asmin Raste Rajanyashavya Shuro Maharato Jayatam Dogdirdeno Udan Advan Ashush Saptihi Purandir Yosha Jishno Rateshta Saveyo Yuvasya Yajamanasya Viro Jayatam Nikame Naha Parchanyo Varchatu Palinnona Voshadaya Pachantam Yoga Kshemo Nakalpatam Om Shanti 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 Purnamada Purnamida Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Punaktu Sahaviryankara Vavahai Tejasvina Vadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Sarvam Shri Krishnarpanamastu Hari Om.
Thank you. It is Rashtra Geetam, Veda Rashtra Geetam, A Brahman Brahmano.
Brahmano.
Before Janaganama or Vande Mataram, we have Yajurveda, the Rashtra Geetam, and this is the objective of the Ashwamedha Yaga, the royal consecration and the sacrifice of sacrifices. So we just Rashtra Geetam has been sung, and Yoga Kshemo Naha Kalpetam, which means we are now wishing Yoga and Kshema. Kshema is Yoga and Yoga is Kshema to Dr. Charanji, who has to complete another more square decades of life. God bless you.